Dear all, thank you for joining us on your YouTube channel. We will see today the French tax opportunities. I'm not going to explain in details everything that we set out, but I shall instead point out all existing tax opportunities following case law, French Supreme Court of Law or European Court of Justice. We'll let you come back to us if you have any question or comments about those opportunities. And also please note that those tax opportunities are opportunities to claim a reimbursement of taxes, so income tax for individuals or corporate tax for companies, and there are not possibility of tax optimization or tax avoidance. First, regarding individuals and especially non-resident with French income source, they have the opportunity to claim the reimbursement of social contribution applied on their capital gain and property income from French source in 2017 and 2018. In order to claim, non-residents have to be affiliated to a social security scheme in another EU member state or in Switzerland. For example, if you are living in France and you realize a capital gains on property or you have property income, you will pay income tax and social contribution, 15.5% in 2017, and as from the 1st January of 2018, we pay 17.2% of the income. But if you are a non-resident affiliated to a social security scheme in Slovenia or in other EU member state or Switzerland, you only pay those contributions and you can claim a refund. Just please note that you are only allowed to claim a reimbursement of capital gains on property realized in 2018 and a reimbursement of social contribution paid on property income received in 2017 and declared in 2018. The second opportunity for individuals is also for non-resident and about French wealth tax because the French Court of Cassation decided that non-residents who have equity securities have to be considered to have a financial investment exempt from French wealth tax. For example, you are a non-resident living in Slovenia or abroad, and you had equity securities in France before the 1st January of 2018. You were subject to wealth tax, but due to the decision of the French Court of Cassation, now those equity securities have to be considered as a financial investment exempt of wealth tax. So those non-residents can claim a reimbursement of the part of wealth tax paid on those equity securities. Just please note that normally this opportunity is time-barred, except in case of litigation with the French tax administration, because in this case the time limit is longer. Let's pass now to the tax opportunities for company. This one is about the possibility of claiming a reimbursement of withholding tax withheld on dividends received by your loss-making non-resident companies from French company. In practice, it's only applied on dividends paid by a French company in respect of minority shareholdings in a loss-making foreign company. So for EU companies, the participation rate in the French subsidiary must be less than 5% if the conditions of the parent subsidiary regime are met, or less than 10% if not. For example, you are a company domiciled in Slovenia or abroad. You are in a loss-making situation and you have a minority shareholding in a subsidiary in France. The French subsidiary pay dividends. So due to the minority shareholding, a withholding tax apply, and the European Court of Justice and the French Supreme Court in France say that withholding tax has not to be applied. So the non-resident company can claim a reimbursement of this withholding tax. Let's pass now to another opportunity for companies and the possibility to claim a reimbursement of withholding tax applied on services provided in France. It's just a part of the French withholding tax applied for non-resident company because the withholding tax in this case cannot be calculated on a gross basis without deduction of professional expenses incurred by the foreign provider, and this solution is only valid for EU member providers. For example, you are a non-resident provider established in Slovenia or in EU. You will provide services in France to a French company. When the French company or individual will pay, a withholding tax will apply, and normally the calculation of the withholding tax have to be set on a gross basis, but the French administrative court said that for year issues, the withholding tax has to be calculated on the net basis, and it's only for year companies. So, due to this decision, you can claim a reimbursement of the part of withholding tax paid on the difference between the gross basis and the net basis. We finished those opportunities for company with the final losses of a subsidiary or permanent establishment based in Euro, and the possibility of deduction of those final losses from the French group's overall result. In order to allow the deduction, subsidiary has to be established in another member state of European Union. Those subsidiaries could objectively have been members of the tax consolidation group in France if they had been established in France. In this case, the French consolidation group can ask for deduction from the group's overall result of the final losses accumulated by the European subsidiary. So, for example, you have a tax consolidation group in France, and you have a group overall result with taxable income and final losses of all members of the tax consolidation group. If the tax consolidation group has a non-resident subsidiary, and this subsidiary could be member of the French tax consolidation group and have final losses not deductible in his own country, the French tax consolidation group can claim the deduction of those final losses incurred on or after January 1st, 2018. Just please note that this decision is not final because the French tax administration made an appeal. And finally, I just want to share with you the evolution of corporate income tax rate in France. And as you can see on the chart, the corporate income tax rate will decrease to 25% in